There is good, and then there is goodness. Jayden Daniels, the ladder on this night as he finds Terry McLaurin for his second passing touchdown of the night and his career. The first coming to Trent Scott, a tackle eligible. How's that for some future trivia? Nothing trivial about the performance. Daniels, spectacular. Back in studio alongside Ryan Wilson, Bryant McFadden joining the conversation as well. Fellas, this was about as good as you're going to get from a rookie quarterback. Doesn't matter the opponent, doesn't matter the moment, but in prime time, next to perfect, was Daniels. What was your favorite part, the most illuminating aspect to this performance by the rookie quarterback?
We talked about it all Sunday, Joe, watching the young quarterbacks, both first year and second year, try to figure things out, and as they make their way through the NFL. C.J. Stroud was a story a year ago in terms of him turning it on after week 2. There has been no training wheels experience for Jayden Daniels. He's been like this since week 1. And I said this earlier, and I feel like offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury deserves a ton of credit for putting Jayden in opportunities to have success, whether that's quick game, whether that's screen game, whether that's design runs, whether that's leaning on his run game. Austin Eckler today before he went out with the concussion. Brian Robinson last week. And he has been able to have success without being asked to do a lot. And then when he dials it up down the field, guys like Terry McLaurin are stepping up and making plays for him. It's a perfect confluence of events. Even though the offensive line prior to tonight hasn't been necessarily lights out, they got the run game going, and that was fun to watch. But I think you can win with an athletic quarterback who, to your point, has to avoid the big hits. And if he can do that, he went 21-23. It feels like the sky is the limit, and that doesn't seem like hyperbole.
You just saw it on the screen there, 91% completion percentage, a record franchise history for Washington. Also, a rookie record. In the history of the NFL, no rookie, 91%. Humorous in some ways, Mac. Enlighten us here. What are you feeling after this performance by Daniels?
My goodness. Jayden Daniels in a Commanders uniform is looking like Jayden Daniels in an LSU uniform. Point blank. Every week we've seen growth with Jayden Daniels. If you go look at week 1 against a very, very good Tampa Bay Buccaneers team on the road, he gave them fits. If you look at what he did last week, he continued to improve against the Giants. And this week, he just put it all together on the national stage. And the thing I love about Jayden Daniels, you talked about only having 2 incompletions. But the most critical drive for the Commanders, right in a moment where their defense was kind of standing on their heels, they just gave up a touchdown drive to Cincinnati. Cincinnati needing to get the ball back. Their defense had no answers. When they got in 2nd and long, he made a play. When they got 3rd and short, he made a play. And finally, he just dropped the nail on the hammer on the nail with that long touchdown throw to Scary Terry. And both passes, deep passes to Scary Terry, was a thing of beauty, right? I mean, he was dead on with his touch. He didn't force it. He was able to fit the football only in a spot where his receiver could make a catch. This was one of the best performances we've seen from a rookie quarterback in quite some time. And he did so against a very, very desperate team, by the way, in Cincinnati, knowing that they could not afford to go 0-3.
Holding off that desperation and performing in moments, and this moment greater. What he is doing right now can only build confidence within it. We know for these rookie quarterbacks, there is a certain level of talent that is required to make you one of those top overall picks. But the confidence that comes with playing like this on an NFL stage in prime time, what can that do for a young career at this point for Daniels?
It's immeasurably helpful. We saw it last year with C.J. Stroud, had Bobby Sloak as the offensive coordinator, had D'Amico Ryans, put him in a position to have success. And look, we saw it in Miami, B-Mac. Once Brian Flores was gone and they brought in Mike McDaniel, the first call Mike McDaniel made was to Tua Tagovailoa and said, "You are my dude. This is how we're going to make you better." Health concerns have sidelined Tua, but when he is on, he is on. And you see this here in this game tonight. And as B-Mac has talked about the previous 2 weeks with Jayden Daniels, each and every week he gets better, and they're going to give him more, just like a year ago Bobby Sloak would give C.J. Stroud more week in and week out. And by the end, they're a playoff team, and they're winning playoff games, and they're winning playoff games convincingly. And B-Mac, I'll let you in a little secret. I told Joe this a moment ago. I picked Washington to win the division 3 weeks ago.
How about this guy?
Yeah, fingers crossed. We're going in the right direction.
Not getting out ahead of ourselves here, but celebrating the wins as they come one at a time. if there is growth from here, which there will be for Jayden Daniels, it's going to be a whole lot of fun to watch him orchestrate this offense. They've kept him clean, and he's been efficient. He's thrown 76 passes this season, an 80% completion rate by this rookie quarterback. But we talk a lot about not just the ability you have or the confidence that you play with, but the infrastructure around these rookies, Mac. Cliff Kingsbury is putting his guy in positions to succeed. What are you seeing schematically from this offense that is getting Daniels into these clean looks so he can be that efficient?
They're giving him a two-way go with a lot of his passing opportunities, you know, and what I mean when I say that, he has the ability to take off at any given time. And that's what makes him so special. Remember Sam Howell for the Commanders last year. He's one of the more sacked quarterbacks in the National Football League. He didn't have the athleticism, the speed, and the vision that Jayden Daniels has. And when you have that type of athlete in the backfield as your quarterback, he's always a +1 in the running game. You know, just look at what Lamar Jackson has done. He's basically a replica of Lamar Jackson. And he's not that far off when it comes to running because he has that vision. He has the instinct. He knows exactly when to take off. Think about in tonight's matchup, right? When things got a little rattled in the pocket, when Cincinnati was bringing extra pressure, they couldn't get him. He is so smooth of a runner. It happens so easy with him. So it's easy to be a play caller when you have that type of athlete in the backfield. Remember a year ago for LSU, he was the leading rusher for them the entire season. He ran for over 1,000 yards in the SEC, and he made it look so easy doing so. So what we're seeing from Jayden Daniels, it shouldn't surprise all of us. I think what is more surprising is how fast it is happening for him. Right? Because a year ago, he was the best quarterback in college football by far. But when you look at what he walked into, they traded away Johan Dodson, a revamped offensive line, added a few pieces. Many felt like, well, they don't have enough to get it done. One thing about good quarterbacks, they make everyone around them look better. And that's what Jayden Daniels is doing. And to your point about winning the division, the NFC East need to be mindful of what he is doing because the window is definitely there for the Commanders to make some noise in the division led by Jayden Daniels.
And the only thing I'll add to that, and BMAC makes a bunch of great points there, is when you talk about Lamar Jackson, that was the clear comp coming out of LSU for Jayden Daniels. One of the things that Lamar Jackson leans on in Baltimore is Mark Andrews when he's healthy, Isaiah Likely now as well. Zach Ertz is playing some high-level football after we thought that maybe his career was on the downstretch. They drafted Ben Sinnott as well. He'll get involved in the offense, and Adam Peters' first draft class, home run. And I think the fact that the tight ends are helping ease Jayden's burden is making things even easier for him, or at least seemingly easier as we watch it from where we're sitting.
You know, earlier Max talking about hammers and nails. I saw hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
This defense for Cincinnati, there's nothing there. I mean, they couldn't pressure with +1s. They didn't bring +1s in the right times. Where's the issue? Because offensively, they amass the yardage. You score as many points as you do. You hope that's enough to get the job done, especially facing a rookie quarterback, no matter how talented. What's the issue with the defense right now in Cincy?
You know, we talked to Jason Lockenford at halftime, and he said Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, is really good at halftime adjustments, and I'll be interested to hear what BMAC thinks about this. There were no halftime adjustments that were able to address what Jayden Daniels and that offense is bringing to the table, BMAC. So when you're facing someone like a Lamar Jackson or Ben Roethlisberger back in the day, and the halftime adjustments aren't working, I don't know how you solve the problem other than throwing the kitchen sink at the problem, and they missed the entire what they were trying to hit with the kitchen sink. They just threw it into the river, and Jayden Daniels and Terry McLaurin and company just marched into the end zone time after time, it felt like.
Well, tonight, it felt like they couldn't get pressure on Jayden Daniels with rushing only 4 guys. So when they brought extra defenders in the blitz concept, it allowed, they gave one-on-one opportunities in the secondary, and clearly tonight, the defenders in the secondary for Cincy, they didn't have a good game. And Terry got going. You know, Zach Ertz got going. You know, so we saw McCaffrey get going. So for Cincinnati moving forward, they were dealing with some injuries in the interior spots for their defense, but they have to get healthier. And at some point in time, somebody got to be able to win one-on-one matchups. You know, Trey Hendricksons of the world and Hubbards and guys like that, they got to find a way to win their one-on-one matchups because right now they're not good enough to be able to cover in the back end, bringing extra hats to put pressure on opposing quarterbacks. So hopefully getting healthier can help them. But right now, their defenses, they have some vulnerability throughout their defense on all 3 levels.
And a final thought?
But, Mac, isn't it too late to fix all this stuff? You're 0-3. It's a wrap, right?
No, No.
You got to show up
Because
to the
one thing-
office.
the one bright spot for Cincy, yes, the defense had a letdown performance, but the offense is here. The offense is back, right? Even though T. Higgins wasn't very vocal in the offense, production-wise, just his presence helps Jamar Chase. So that's a bright spot for them. Now they got to find a way to get the defense going, because with a healthy arsenal of pass catchers for Joe Burrow, they're going to score points. But can they get the timely stops? Tonight they couldn't. Let's see, can that improve moving forward? But they have no more room for error because they're 0-3, and they got some favorable matchups in their favor moving forward, but they have no room for error.
The task ahead is slowing down the Andy Dalton-led Carolina Panthers in a Red Rifle revenge game. Writes itself. Highest completion percentage in a game by a rookie. Dakota Rain, just shy of 89%.
Jeez.
Jayden Daniels, almost unblemished in a Monday night victory where he throws his first 2 touchdown passes of what will be, hopefully, a celebrated career.